Hello and welcome to today's video. I'm going to be streaming across Facebook, YouTube and Instagram today, so bear with me while I try to accommodate everybody. This is a live session all about how to turn your drawings into cut files that you can use to cut into HTV. So today I'm going to be using Silhouette Studio, which is the free software that comes with any Silhouette machine. So quite similar also to Cricut as well. You can cut our HTVs with any cutting machine. But today we're going to be looking at Silhouette Studio as the software to turn our drawings into cut files. So this is the drawing that we'll be working with today. This little one here, this is a dinosaur. And I'm going to show you how to get it from paper onto, first of all, Silhouette Studio, and then turn that into a cut file so you can use it for your HTV. So let me turn Instagram around. Okay, so we're going to go into Silhouette Studio, which is just here. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take a photo of the drawing or scan it into our computer. So we've got it there. And then we're just going to open that photo. Here he is, into Silhouette Studio. So I'm also going to make him a little bit bigger as well so I can see him. And then this is the magic tool that we want. We're going to go over to the trace panel. So you can also find the trace panel by going up into the panel section and then clicking trace if you can't find it. But mine was already on the taskbar, so here it is. So what I want to do next is select my trace area, and that will give me the kind of 4-point mouse that I've got here. And then just going to drag it over the area that I want to trace, like that. So you can see it's highlighted a few other bits that I don't want, but that's kind of inevitable because I didn't take it with a clear background. You can increase or decrease the threshold here, which means you can select more or less of the drawing, but that's about right. So that's what I'm going to go with. Lots of other buttons depending on whether you just want the outline, whether you want to just trace the outer edge, all that kind of fun stuff. Today we're just going to click trace. So once I move this file here, there he is. Obviously we're going to need to tidy this up, and eventually we want to end up with something like this so that we can cut it out of our HTV. So let's go back to what we've got. I'm going to close the trace panel because we don't need that anymore. I'm also going to delete him because we don't need him anymore. And then I'm actually going to make this a little bit bigger as well so that I can really see what I'm doing. So the first thing we want to do is get rid of these little bits around the edges if you've got any bits that you don't want. So to do that, I'm going to right click and I'm going to release the compound path. And that allows me to click any of these little bits as if they're individual sections. So I'm just going to click down on my mouse, select the bits I don't want and hit delete on my keyboard. Do that for all of those little bits there. So again, at the end of this, we're going to have turned our physical drawing into a cut file for HTV. So it's a really cool trick. And if you've just joined the live, don't worry, because it will save down afterwards so you can see those first steps again. So obviously this is great. We've got the cut file, and if we just want to cut out lines, brilliant, but we don't. We want him to be multicolored, and we want to end up with something like this. So we can have, for example, the outline in black, layer it up with the body in one green, and then the detail in a lighter green. That's what I'm going for. So how do we get this to that? Great question. So what I'm going to do to make it nice and easy, I'm quite a visual person, is I'm going to select the body. So like I said, because we've released that compound path, we can select all these individual areas. So I'm going to click this, and then I'm going to press the Shift button so I can select all of these little spikes, I guess they're called, on his back at once. Just like that, because I want them all to be the same color at the end. And then I'm going to move over to my panel. I'm going to click the icon that looks like a little artist board kind of thing. And then I'm going to fill it all with the same color. So I'm going to go for light green. There we go. So I'm then going to move over to his body over here because I want that to be the same color. I'm going to fill that in as well. And then this, I think I'm going to cut the outline out of black HTV. So I'm going to select that there. And then I need that middle piece. So don't worry if it colors in the wrong section. You can just press Control and Z and it will take it away. There we go. And then I'm just going to try and select that middle piece again. Okay, I think I've got it this time. There we go. And then I'm just going to color in all the bits in the colors that I would like them to be in HTV. We are going to separate this at the end, so just bear with me while I do my coloring in. So again, this is using Silhouette Design Studio, which is the free software that you get with any Silhouette machine. And there are so many cool tips and tricks with this software. Oh, that's the wrong color. So I want the outline. Did I get that? Perfect. Yep. And then I'm going to just color in his eye as well. Lovely, and his little nostrils. So again, for anyone that's just joining, as this is a live stream, I will let it save down so you can watch the whole thing back again. And we're also streaming across Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So you can watch it anywhere that you like. So now that I've got my colors, I'm going to shut the fill tab down. Now we have it. He's looking good already, but how are we going to separate this out so that we can cut it into multiple colors of vinyl? So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to resize the whole thing to the size that I want it to be when I cut it out. And then when we separate it, everything will be the right size to put it all back together again on a t-shirt or whatever we're going to press this onto. So I'm going to select that black base, move it away. So this is what I'm going to cut out of my black HTV. So again, I'm going to move his eye out of the way and then tiny little nostrils as well. So kind of take him apart and then we'll put him back together again once he is cut in all the different colors. Right, so that's our black layer, that's our black HTV done. And then what we're going to do is we are going to, again, select, and then I'm going to hold down the Shift key. I'm going to select all the bits that I'm cutting out in one green layer, right click, and then I'm going to group them together so that when I move them, they're still in the correct place. So this will make it easier when we cut out of our different HTV colors to just layer them back on top of each other. So this is going to be a second layer, the arm, because it's going over the black outline. So I'm just going to pop that there to cut that out of the same color as well. And then I don't actually need this white eye because I'm just going to cut that by hand because it's just a little dot. So it's not worth putting a whole sheet of HTV in a cutting machine for. And then to get my final layer, I can see a little tiny dot where we've traced earlier. I'm going to delete, don't need that. And then again, I'm going to highlight bits that I need, right click and group those as well. So there I've got my 3 different HTV cut files. So one I'm going to do in Happy Flex Black, and then I'm going to do 2 different shades of green. And then once we've cut these, it's going to be really clever. So we're going to put our black layer down first, and then we're going to have this green layer next. And then we're going to pop these on to that. And then you've obviously got all the details like the eyes and things like that as well. So as you can see, it's quite simple once you know how. Like, it can look like a lot of buttons, especially if you're new to owning a cutting machine, but they make it really easy for you in terms of doing anything and everything. And it's exactly the same process for something like text. So I'll show you that as well. So I'm going to go back into open files on my computer. And this is a file, just move it so that you can see it on Instagram. This is a file that I just created in Canva. So these are just the text that I like the look of when I was designing in Canva. Open that up, and exactly the same process again. I open my trace panel, move it over so again you can see it on Instagram, and then select the trace area. So whatever text I want. Again, this could be a photo that I've uploaded from my camera roll on my phone, or this could be a file, an artwork file that you made elsewhere. And then all you want to do is just select the one that you want, and it's going to highlight it in yellow, and then click trace. So There we go. We've got our wording as well. So I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to pop it into this file here. Just like that. So there we've got our text there as well, but always remember, especially if you're working with text, that you'll want to right click and flip it horizontally before you cut that into the vinyl, just because you cut into the back of HTV, so it will be backwards if you don't flip it before cutting. So really easy, like I said, to use the trace tool on Silhouette Studio. Again, there'll be similar tools on machines like Cricut, Brother Scan and Cut, Caesar, all those kind of machines. Our HTVs are compatible with any cutting machine. So again, lots of fun stuff to play with. So you can see I've got quite a few layers to cut out of different colors, because you can layer up HTV when you work with it to make your lovely dinosaur at the end. But if you don't have a cutting machine as well, I definitely recommend investing in one, especially if you're creative. But if you don't want a cutting machine, you can do this process a little differently and still be able to print onto t-shirts and fabrics and things like that. What you can do is you can upload a picture of your drawing or your artwork file to happyfabrictransfers.co.uk, and we can send it as a ready to go transfer, so no cutting or weeding involved. Obviously, this tutorial today is all about looking at what you can do with Silhouette Studio and the trace tool, just to turn your drawings into artwork. It's a really great way to get kind of a unique custom designs, and then once you've made the cut file, you can use it again and again for the same result. So really, really cool process. I hope that's helped in giving you an intro to how you can turn your drawings into cut files. If you do have any questions, obviously this live will save down and you can ask them, and we'd be more than happy to help wherever we can. And this was Silhouette Studio that I've used today. We do sell Silhouette machines on our website. We'll probably have the new Silhouette machines coming in soon as well. So definitely check them out if you're considering investing in a new or your first cutting machine. We also do textile printing bundles. So if you're looking at getting a press, you could also pop in a cutting machine, make it a bundle, save yourself some money as well. So that really is it today. It's like I said, really simple process once you know how. If you've got a cutting machine, definitely take a look at some of those buttons that you never use, because it might lead you to find something really cool that you hadn't thought about doing yet, and some really unique custom ways to play with your artwork. So that was the trace tool, and thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week for another live stream, and yeah, I hope you learned something different today.